In this video, we are going to learn the following things: how to get started with Excel, basic terminologies such as workbook, worksheet, rows, columns, and cells, and lastly, what is ribbon and what are the various tabs in the ribbon. So let's start. The first thing we have to do is start Microsoft Excel. To start, it should be installed in your system. If it is not installed, you may need to visit the Microsoft website to download Microsoft Office. If it is installed, you can open Excel by three methods. The first is you go to the Start option and you search for Excel and you click on it. The other option is you use this search tool to look for Excel and click on it. The third option is by right clicking on the desktop, going to New and selecting Microsoft Excel worksheet here. If you double click on it, it opens a worksheet. Once Excel opens, you will see this window with many small rectangular boxes. Down here, you can see a tab saying Sheet 1. You can add more sheets by clicking this plus icon. Now you can see Sheet 2 and 3 also. Think of this window as your notebook and these sheets as the pages in your notebook. This window is called Excel Workbook and each sheet is called a worksheet. So in Excel terms, your notebook corresponds to a workbook and a page in your notebook corresponds to a worksheet. Now if you open Excel again, that will open another workbook. You can work on many workbooks simultaneously. So you can see that I have two workbooks active and I can work on both of them simultaneously. Now let us look at all the elements that we can see in this window. Do not get intimidated by the number of elements. Once you start working on Excel, all this will come naturally to you. So the major part of this screen is taken up by this set of small rectangles. If you look closely, these rectangles are formed by the vertical and horizontal lines. These vertical paths are called columns and each column has an alphabet name. If I click on this letter B, it highlights the column B. In a worksheet, there are 16,384 such columns. Although you do not need to remember this number, but that is the number of columns we have in this worksheet. Similarly, the horizontal paths are called rows and are represented by numbers. If I click 2, the second row will be highlighted. The maximum number of rows in a worksheet is over a million. Now the intersection of the row and the column creates a rectangle. This rectangle is called a cell. So column A and row 1 create a cell called A1. Now I told you that we have 16,384 columns and we have 1,048,576 rows. Can you find out the total number of cells in this worksheet? And if I have 3 worksheets in this workbook, how many cells do I have in my workbook? I will show you the answer to this question in the next video. Let's move on for now. Now this area is called the ribbon. Ribbon constitutes all these tabs: home, insert, page layout, etc. and all the options that you see within each tab. If you do not want to see the options in the tabs, you can collapse the ribbon with this small button. But generally, when I am working on a file, I usually prefer to keep them open. Now remember that all these are tabs except this file button. File button has some other functionalities and we will discuss that later. For now, I will give you a brief overview of these tabs. In the videos to come, we will dive deeper into all the options you see in these tabs. The first tab is the Home tab. You'll probably spend most of your time with the Home tab selected. This tab contains the basic clipboard commands such as cut, copy, paste, formatting commands, styling commands, and commands to insert and delete rows or columns. The second tab is Insert tab. We use this tab to insert elements into a worksheet, elements such as a table, a diagram, a chart, a symbol, and so on. Page Layout tab contains commands that affect the overall appearance of your worksheet, including some settings that deal with printing. The fourth tab is Formulas tab, which is used to insert a formula, name a cell, or access formula auditing tools, etc. Next tab is Data tab, where you will find data related commands including data validation, filtering, sorting, and advanced analysis tools. Then comes Review tab, which helps to review the content in your worksheet, such as do spell checking, translate words, or add comments. The last tab is the View tab, which contains commands that control various aspects of how a sheet is viewed. For example, zooming or freezing panes within a worksheet. So while explaining this, I have used various Excel specific terms and you may not understand the meaning of these terms right now. But when we go through each of these functionality one by one in the course, you will understand what each option does. So this might seem like a lot, but trust me, we will go step by step, and when you see the examples of how all these are used, you will realize that Excel is very simple and very powerful tool, which is why it is very popular in businesses. In the next video, we are going to see how to enter data and formula in these cells.